Hey, everybody. Welcome back to an all-new episode of the Banter Podcast, episode number 84. I got the number right this time. I am Tim, and as always, I'm joined by my ever-present, ever-lovely, omniscient, omnipotent, omnipresent co-host, Kevin Bradley. Kevin, how are you, man?
I'm good, man. Inside, it's starting to cool down outside, which is nice, and ready to do another episode.
Yeah, man. It's good to have you guys back. As always, if you guys are listening to us on iTunes, make sure that you go to the podcast page and just, even if it's just clicking a certain amount of stars, 5 stars, and then just submitting that'd be great. Leave us a review. If you have something to say about the show, let us know. It just helps us out a ton, lets us get more listeners involved. And
that said, we did get some new ones this week, so thanks to those of you who did throw some up there. That was awesome. I think we ended up with like 3 or 4 new ratings, which definitely helps out a ton. So we definitely appreciate it.
Yeah, it was definitely a nice surprise. Good to have that on there. Appreciate it, guys. So we have a good show for you guys this week. We have Kevin experienced quite a bit, I guess, in the past weekend. Wants to talk about. And I think one of the main things is one of the bigger games coming out this year that they released a pre-alpha, what I've never heard of before, what's referred to as a tech test.
I think it's yeah. It's a tech test for Titanfall 2, but I don't think it's really pre-alpha. I consider the gameplay that we got was really more along the lines of beta, really pre-release gameplay, aside from a few features that were bugged, it seems like. But as far as tech test goes, the best way I can describe it is they were just stress testing their servers. And if you're playing with your video quality because mine is screwing up, I'm going to flip out.
I am, yeah.
So my audio is screwing up again?
You're getting a little choppy here and there.
I have no clue what else I can possibly do at this point.
I don't know. We might need to switch over to Skype eventually if the video stuff just
because
it might just be Google Plus. We might just have to bear with it for another episode and then maybe reconsider switching back over to just doing audio and posting it the next day.
Yeah, because I know one of the issues is my Surface, which I run everything on. I found out today after spending $300 on new network gear was that it only runs on 2.4 gigahertz. It doesn't pick up the 5 gigahertz channel. So,
well, what you could do is what we do at work, and you can get I know you just spent that money getting a new router, but you can also get a USB to Ethernet dongle that you could plug into it, and you'll be able to use a wired connection.
Yeah, I may just end up running on my desktop next week or something if it's still acting up, because again, I don't even with the 3.4, is it 3.4 or is it 2.4?
It's 2.4.
2.4 speed. I'm still getting upwards of 10 upload and 45 plus download, so I have no clue what's going on at this point. Maybe I can play with my video settings and that adjust it, but I don't even know where to do that at. So
if you mouse over in the middle and then go up to the top, I'm glad people can see us. You see the little, it looks like signal, like right next to the camera button. So if you click on that, you can.
I wonder if that's what's screwing me up. Maybe I just needed to adjust that all along, and maybe that would fix the issue. So I'm gonna put that on medium. Hopefully that'll help out because it was on the highest. So.
Oh, okay, yeah. All right, you definitely sound.
Hopefully that'll help.
Yeah. Okay. So tech test, Titanfall tech test.
Yeah. So
it's really screwing with me. I can't say Titanfall tech test.
I think the main thing was they were stress testing their servers, and that's the best way I can describe it, because as far as pre-alpha, tech test, whatever you want to call it, I thought the gameplay was pretty solid for what it was, aside from the multiplayer feature being a little bugged with being able to invite friends. That said, I also think for them stress testing their servers, it's an excellent practice, because how many games have we seen flop out the gate because they were doing a quote-unquote beta and not testing their so
pretty much every big multiplayer game to come out in the past 2 years or since the new consoles.
Yeah, so them actually putting that thing through the ringer, I thought was a great idea and worked out pretty well. We'll see how it works at launch, whether it is fully operational and they don't have a ton of lag, but it's coming back again this weekend. We're hoping that the multiplayer stuff gets worked out before that. But that said, what they released it for, I think went well. And everything that they weren't seeming to test, I thought went really well. The gameplay was unbelievably fun. And that's coming from somebody that really enjoyed the first one. I was going into this just hoping that they built on what they set up in the first game, and they did that and more. They introduced new mechanics, new Titans. I mean, all the things that the first game was really missing. And obviously they're introducing a campaign, which the first one didn't have. No information really released about that right now. They didn't even release a tech test on PC because they didn't want people to data mine it, apparently. So, yeah.
Interesting. Yeah, so that was something that kind of snuck up on me. I didn't even realize that they were doing it. And then Sunday rolled around and you were like, dude, you got to install this. And by the time I got it installed, it was 9-10 o'clock at night, and I'm just glad that it's coming back this weekend. Hopefully once I get everything squared away moving out of my old place, that I can play that. We can get down on that, and we can start twitching on that.
Yeah, that'd be great. So that was the other thing, was we started doing that this week. So it's a lot of things in the works. Titanfall, but yeah, to that point, Titanfall was really, really fun. I had a blast with it. I got a couple hours in on it. It snuck up on me as well. I thought it was closed tech test. I think it was initially, and then I think it opened up to the general public Saturday maybe. And so whenever we got back in from out of town Sunday evening, I was able to play it for a couple hours. So definitely enjoyed it.
That's awesome. That was the first game I had on my Xbox One. I bought it on PC initially, the first Titanfall. I enjoyed it. The only problem was really that whenever I was playing on PC, I really didn't have anybody to play with. I played with Brad occasionally, but we never really seemed to catch each other. And I think by the time I started playing on the Xbox, I think you were almost done with the game. So we started moving on to other things at that point. I think, I don't know if Destiny was about to, no, because it was back in May of 13, I think, or 14, whenever I got it. But yeah, I'm pretty excited about it. It's going to be hard, though. I know you talked about it last week, but there's so many games coming out, and then there's also, I don't know, the guilt that's going to come in if I try and buy anything and play anything other than Rise of Iron when it comes out, because honestly, I don't see myself playing much more than that whenever it comes out, just like what happened with Taken King. And, I prepped for that. I didn't try buying a bunch of games around that time either, and we ended up playing that for 6 months.
Yeah, I mean, I'm killing any sort of desire at this point to get Battlefield 1 or Call of Duty, but I had so much fun with the tech test. Destiny's always going to be there, and I'm still going to play it, and I almost welcome having something that's not 100% Destiny, because I really did burn through the content and Taken King really quickly. So that said, my gameplay right now is between No Man's Sky and grinding, getting ready for Rise of Iron. Rise of Iron comes out. There's still a month gap in between Rise of Iron, Gears of War, and Titanfall 2. So I'm fully confident in the fact that I can manage getting those 3 games and still give them all the attention that they deserve. So
juggling Titanfall and Gears of War might be a little difficult for me to do. I think I might opt for Gears of War over Titanfall, but just for just historical reasons. I've always enjoyed those games. Typically those are games that we play together too. So it's I don't know. I guess we'll see. Yeah. I'll probably end up. I'm not going to panic purchase anything like I did with Fallout 4, and and feel like have FOMO, have a fear of missing out on that stuff. But
well, Fallout 4 was going to be a single player, so I think you could say that it was a fear of missing out, but at the same time, realistically speaking, all you were missing out on by not getting Fallout 4 was a conversation piece. It wasn't an actual game player experience with other people. So with that said, I think that's completely different for Gears, Titanfall, and Destiny, where you're going to be playing with, So
yeah, you're getting a little muddled. I don't know if maybe I'll drop mine down to low quality and see how that goes. See if that helps at all. Anyway, so that comes back on Friday.
I'm not sure if it's Friday or next week. I really don't know. Or no, not next week. I don't know if it's Friday. Sorry, I'm getting distracted with all this audio shit. Like I can't even finish a train of thought. I've just gone to audio only. I don't care anymore. I just want this to not drive me crazy whenever I listen to this next week, and it's just muddled garbage. So
yeah, no worries. I'll do the same. So it's not not much of a distraction. So let's turn the camera off. And
that said, tell me if it's still screwing up, because if it is, I really don't know what else to do.
It isn't. No, you're good. I can hear Izzy loud and clear squeaking her toy. So I think we're good. So Titanfall, and then also this weekend. By the way, for anybody who didn't know, Kevin had his birthday back on Friday.
Yeah.
28 years old.
That's it. You're just right around the corner, man.
Yeah, a week from today.
That's it.
Another year closer to 30. I'm getting getting a little anxiety thinking about it. But you guys took a trip, and then you guys went and saw Suicide Squad.
That we did. So saw Suicide Squad Saturday. We were up in Asheville, and I realized that if we didn't go see that in theaters, the chance of me making an effort to go watch it were pretty slim. So I figured no better time than to just go see it in theaters. It was raining that day there, so it kind of worked out great that we didn't really have much else going on that particular day in between some other stuff that we had going on around town. So went out and watched it, and I definitely maintained the same position that I typically do with these things, where I went in with very low expectations, which I think you should, and I think the internet has certainly brought that upon everyone that is planning to go see it. Great, now my Surface Charger isn't even working. This is fucking fantastic. So yeah, went and saw that with low expectations and came away feeling not great, but not, oh my God, why did I spend money to go see this sort of reaction? It wasn't the end all be all best movie of all time. I think it was definitely trying to be sort of this Guardians of the Galaxy-esque film and falling far short of that. I can definitely see where they made a last minute pivot to try to turn it into something it wasn't, and that shows as well where it doesn't really have a strong sense of identity. There were some really odd choices for certain things throughout. However, all those things said, I think it left a lot to be desired, but it also had some really unexpectedly fun moments throughout the film, which I was really happy to see. I thought Margot Robbie and Will Smith were awesome. Jared Leto was good. That's another one of those things that falls into the category of really confused editing, or I don't know what it is, but stylistically it was hit or miss for me too. The tattoos, I thought I could get over it, but I mean, Jared Leto's performance was great, but the tattoos still fucking kill me. And
yeah, it's definitely just not the Joker to me.
That said, I mean, I could get over the wardrobe choices. I thought Jared Leto was great as the Joker, but the tattoos was so bad. I couldn't get over it. So, yeah. And then, the same old thing that drives me crazy with every superhero movie whenever they don't have the time or care to develop any sort of a plot or interest in a villain, which is just amorphous space alien that you have to go attack, to save the city. Big deal.
So just like Batman vs. Superman?
Yeah, exactly. So, yeah, that said, also I think it was better than Batman vs Superman. That was just my opinion.
Interesting, because I was entertained by Batman vs Superman.
Oh, I definitely was.
Yeah, and I kind of want to go back. So I think Raphael, our buddy, he was talking about going back and watching the extended cut. They did the director's cut. It's like 30 minutes longer, which I've heard mixed things about. I've heard that it adds nothing, and then I've heard that there's good stuff involved in it. But I don't know. That makes me a little more hopeful that you're saying that Suicide Squad you enjoyed more than Batman vs Superman. That makes me want to go see it. I might
It
have to
just
do that this
wasn't
weekend.
so. It just didn't force you into this very melancholy, dark, begrudging tone
That's
that
what
the
the
Snyder
reshoots
movies
were all
are.
about, right? The reshoots were all
Yeah,
about adding comedy and adding some sort of levity to the movie.
right. And that's the issue, is that some of it feels really forced, is that like lightheartedness and levity feels really forced and awkward. And so that's where my issue comes, is that like some of the jokes hit and worked out well, which I think may have been integral to the story, and then the other ones felt very weird and tacked on. And so, like I said, I think the franchise deserves, and I think it's made enough money that it will get more attention and could go further. But I think that, or I would hope that Warner Brothers has learned their. Warner Brothers did this, right?
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
would hope that they've learned their lesson for the whole issue that's taken place. That is very evident, and I think that's come across in every form of media or sort of review, which is that trust the director to do what they're going to do, that you hired them to do, rather than trying to make this big change last minute. And it comes across like, if it had stayed in that dark melancholy tone, I'm sure it would have been fine, because it would have been like that throughout, and then the comedy and brevity that was brought into it would be much more appreciated, because it wouldn't be trying to be that the entire time whenever it really shouldn't have had to be. So yeah, like I said, it's a little bit of a mismatch of a lot of different things. But all that said, I think there is some good to it, and I think there was some good things that happened. But again, there was far more odd decisions and odd things that took place to me. Even the more I think about it, so this isn't really a spoiler, but obviously you've even seen it in the trailers. Everybody from the Suicide Squad. Which, side note, the other thing that drives me crazy is anytime a movie feels the need to put the title in a phrase in the movie, which of course this does, and it kills me every time it happens in a movie. Then anyway, you've seen it in every trailer for Suicide Squad. They've all got their backstory whenever they're assembling it, and whenever it's doing that, who are the bad guys, and it does Harley Quinn, and it does Deadshot, and then Boomerang, and they've all got their little backstory thing. Some of them a little bit more fleshed out than others. The thing that gets me, and this could be really dumb, and I could be putting my foot in my mouth, but as far as I know, Killer Croc has always been a Batman villain. Is that wrong? Was he something else other than that? Because no mention of Batman whatsoever in his backstory, even though they mentioned it in Deadshot and Harley Quinn's.
Yeah, no, I've always known him to be a Batman villain.
Yeah, so again, it just seems really odd that Batman's tied to so much stuff in this movie, which I thought was nice and interesting. And I don't think they got Ben Affleck to do Batman for this movie because it's so minor, but the guy that got to do it looks just like him in the suit. So, but
it wasn't Ben Affleck?
It may have been. I mean, I don't know.
I thought that it was. I could have sworn that he was in the credits.
Oh, was he? I didn't even check to see, to be completely honest. It may have been. Either way, I mean, it's not like he has really any dialogue at all, so they could have done a stand-in that was a Ben Affleck lookalike and gotten the same effect. So maybe if they had spent that money a little bit more wisely, we would have a different movie now, but that's beside the point. So
yeah. So Killer Croc first appeared showcase or in a cameo in Detective Comics, so that's Batman, and then in 1983, and then crossed over into Batman 357 in 1983 also.
So that's so fucking weird to me. I mean,
you're getting a little digital,
okay,
little muddled.
All right, well, that's all I got on Suicide Squad.
Yeah, well. That's what sucks is I don't know that it's going to ever live up to the hype for me, because leading up to the movie, like finding out that David Ayer was directing it and finding out like all these cool the cast that was involved, I had really, really high hopes going into it. And even seeing the initial trailers, it got me really excited for the movie. And I don't know. I think you've probably brought a little bit more faith back into me, into my mind about the movie. And I kind of want to go see it soon, so that, I don't know, kind of just want to get it out of the way. I feel like I need to watch it just because I've had so much faith in that movie and the director. But if that sucks, that you're right, the Warner Brothers had to probably meddle so much and get so much of that changed when, I don't know, if you ever watch David Ayer's movies, they're pretty dark and pretty gritty and super gory for the most part. And, which would have been perfect for this movie, but it didn't end up even having a rated R or an R rating, did it?
No.
Yeah. Yeah. The only
Which was
R-rated
one of the
DC
things we
movie
said
is The Killing Joke, right?
Right. Well, that was what we were saying originally whenever we started talking about these movies back whenever they were announced for Suicide Squad and Deadpool, was that both of these movies should have been done rated R, and and done tastefully, not just slap a rated R rating on it and then force it into it. I think Deadpool's a really good example of that, and Suicide Squad should have followed that formula. I think it would have been. Whenever you think villain, you think more that along those lines. It's a little bit more graphic and less polished and less heroic. It comes with the territory, right? So that's where, yeah, I think it could have benefited from that if done the right way. But I could say that about a lot of things. So
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. Yeah. Deadpool was so good, man. That movie was so good. That was a movie that came out and that we went and saw, I think, during our hiatus. So,
yeah, I did.
It was fantastic. So, in terms of movies, been talking a lot. You and I were talking about how, we typically watch stuff a little later than theaters. We don't go to. I don't know. I can't remember the last time we really went to the theaters consistently to see movies, but the last movie that I watched that really stuck to me that was new to me was Nice Guys. Saw that Friday night with Russell Crowe, Ryan Gosling, buddy cop movie.
Mm-hmm.
It was pretty fantastic. I enjoyed it quite a bit. It was very much a well-balanced buddy cop movie, which for me that's one of my favorite genres of movies, because I don't know, man, you get the comedy elements, especially if there's just good chemistry involved, and it just makes for an enjoyable experience. And then you have two amazing actors like Russell Crowe and Ryan Gosling put together for that kind of role. I don't know, the chemistry was there from the beginning, it seemed like, and they just rolled off of each other. It's funny because I was talking to my boss about it, and he said he couldn't even get halfway through the movie because he hated it so much. So I don't know if it's that polarizing, but I don't know. So that got me thinking about buddy cop movies and just, I don't know, just like dream pairings.
Mm-hmm.
And we've had some pretty good ones over the years. Even in Cop Out, I know it's one of you and my. I wouldn't say it's not really a guilty pleasure, right?
No, I stand by enjoying that movie.
Yeah, it's fantastic. Bruce Willis and Tracy Morgan. Come on. It's a pretty damn good combo. Yeah. Even if you think about the other guys, it's not really a buddy cop. The same in the same vein, I guess. You don't really have a serious character. I guess Mark Wahlberg's character is kind of like fake serious in that movie, but Rush Hour. I enjoyed the Rush Hour movies. And I'll make no bones about it. Those movies, the first two movies, were pretty fantastic to me. And then you have the Lethal Weapon movies and all that. So one of the questions I wanted to pose to you guys, for you guys listening, and you could tweet to us, let us know, like, what is a dream pairing for you guys? Who are two guys? Is as absurd as it may be, just let us know who you guys want to see in a buddy cop movie, because one that came to mind that I thought would be fantastic. It's kind of in the same line as something like Cop Out. Kurt Russell, who I think would play a great straight role, good serious cop, and then throw Dave Chappelle in there with him. Because Dave Chappelle can act. He's funny as shit. A Blue Streak with Martin Lawrence. Come on. Pretty good pairing. I don't know if you have any off the top of your head that you could think of that you would want to see like that.
I can't think of anything right now. Nothing comes to mind right off the top of my head at all. I'll have to think of one and I'll tweet it out.
Yeah. Well, yeah, you guys do the same thing. Let us know what you think of that. I just thought it would be a fun exercise. Get some interesting pairings. I mean, you think about back in the day, 48 Hours and another 48 Hours, Eddie Murphy and Nick Nolte. Like, I mean, and then I don't know. There were just a lot of them back in the day. It's like a genre of movie that needs to come back. And the new guys seems like they're probably going to make another one of it. I would hope so. Anyway, hopefully it made enough money because they did a great job of it.
Yeah, I mean, I think there's a good bit out right now. I mean, what was the other one with Jonah Hill and Channing Tatum? I mean,
21 Jump Street, but that's I don't know. I wouldn't really consider that.
You're crazy if you don't think that's a buddy cop movie. What are they? Buddies? They're cops.
But that's not along the same lines, right? So they're supposed to mix like oil and vinegar for a little while, and then they come together, and then they end up forming a bond. I don't know if they really did that in 21 Jump Street. I guess maybe a little bit in the academy or in high school whenever one was bullying the other, but I don't know. Yeah. Those movies are pretty fucking hilarious. And the fact that they're doing a crossover with Men in Black is going to be pretty ridiculous.
I didn't realize they were doing one with Men in Black.
Yeah, it's called MIB 23. I think it comes out next year.
That's funny.
Yeah. I don't know. So that was one thing I wanted to ask. You said Will Smith was pretty awesome in Suicide Squad.
Yeah.
It's interesting because for me in the casting or like in the trailers, he looked like one of the weaker parts, but
no, I thought the Killer Croc was definitely the weakest part. Killer Croc, I thought the villains, Katana, I thought those were the weakest parts. What's this, like the main guy, what's his name, Rick Flag or whatever?
Joel Kinnaman, I heard, was the worst part of that movie.
Yeah. Those were leagues worse than Will Smith. I mean, and maybe that's the thing, is that the rest of it was so trash that Will Smith was able to look halfway decent.
So how much better would it have been if the original Rick Flag would have been in there in the form of Tom Hardy?
Or Ric Flair.
Ooh. Styling, profiling.
Starring Ric Flair as Rick Flag.
Yeah. No, Tom Hardy was the original. He was supposed to be Rick Flag, and he backed out of the movie.
I still thought that he was Boomerang up until I went and saw it. Because they look eerily similar.
Boomerang's, what is that guy's name? Jay Courtney?
I don't know, but in the movie, they look eerily similar. Like him and that and what's his face in Mad Max, they look very similar.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that he was supposed to be Rick Flag. He might have been cast originally as Boomerang. Now that you say that, and
they both have the accent too, so I would think it would be Boomerang if it's anybody. But who knows?
Yeah, I don't know. Either way, what else have you got cooking? What else you been watching? What else you been playing? What else you been listening to?
So, got back in. Still been playing No Man's Sky a little bit here or there. Still digging it as a good filler game. God, I still can't get over how much backlash that game's getting. I guess I just put blinders on and didn't really dig into the hype or lack thereof for the most part after it came out, but it seems like a lot of people are hating on it pretty hardcore. So I'm still digging it though, so I don't care. But anyway, playing that, and then started getting into the grind to Rise of Iron essentially. So getting everything set up on my Destiny account so that whenever Rise of Iron comes out on the Tuesday on September 20th, that Friday the raid launches, and the goal right now with the raid group is to do the raid starting that Saturday morning. So just trying to stack everything I can and get everything ready to go, and we can dig into what we're both doing to try to do that, and maybe give some tips or hints or tips or advice to any listeners that may be looking to do the same to get ready for that in the next month, because it's exactly a month away. So been kind of doing that, and then we've also kind of done some streams related to that. So we did our first one last night, because ultimately I guess the goal is whenever the raid comes out and we start really pushing more on the podcast front to start putting together some streams and stuff. Since we talk about playing so much, we'd like to kind of share how we go about playing certain games together and stuff like that. And hopefully we can get everybody in the raid team together to do a multi-stream so that you can see all points of view in the raid at the same time with everyone's audio going simultaneously and stuff. So
yeah, that's definitely the goal. Yeah, so if you guys go over to our Twitter or Facebook or anything like that, whenever we're streaming, we'll have the same link up. It'll be a multi-Twitch link where you guys can go, and it'll give you both of our windows, and you can just enable the audio on one of us. You'll be able to hear both of us at any given time. We're working through a little technical difficulties with it here and there. I know, Kevin, you bought a new router, so hopefully that'll
which has probably not done anything at this point. I was so excited to get on the podcast, and I've just slowly gotten more and more defeated as we've been recording because it's So.
Well, we'll see. And then you might be dealing with some packet loss, man. It might not just be your up and down speed that's, since that seems like it's not hindered at all, you might be dealing with some packet loss or some rot in the fiber lines out in your neighborhood or something like that. That's causing issues.
I don't, but that's what I'm saying. Like everything that I'm pulling right off the modem and every speed test, like I'm seeing now, my speed test has gone down drastically to my, like I just did one on my Surface and it's down really, really low all of a sudden. Like it went down to 20 upload and like 3. It was 30 download and like 3 upload, which still isn't terrible. So that's what's driving me nuts. I'm at the point now where I have no choice but to think it's something in. Oh, see, now I'm down to one upload. So I don't know what's going on.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It might be packet loss. It might not be something that's necessarily that evident in just doing a speed test or something like that.
What
because those speeds should be fine. Just I don't know, the lines, something going on with your server connection with Comcast, just in general.
Interesting.
Yeah, I don't know. So yeah, make sure you guys check us out whenever we're doing the stream. Interact with us. It's fun, and it's something for us to get used to. I really hope that we are able to get everybody, all 6, whoever's in the raid party, on board to broadcast, because I think that'd be really, really cool for everybody to see what's going on everybody's screen. And you guys can make fun of me because I'm usually the one killing myself with a trip mine grenade. So dropping down into the I don't even know. What is it called? Devil's or did they name the raid, or was that the new Court of Oryx that's named so far?
I don't know if they've named it or not. I don't know.
I almost want to stay more in the dark about Rise of Iron because I'm finding new stuff out every day that they've announced, and I kind of want to stop finding that stuff out and then just go into there kind of fresh and get surprised by a lot of things. But it looks like it's, I don't know, super promising. Pretty stoked about it.
Yeah. Yeah, like I said, hopefully we can get this internet. Sorry, I can't help but get distracted, and I know it's going to come across in the show. So I apologize, everyone. Hopefully next week we can get it worked out, especially if I sound a little distant tonight. I'm just trying to get this sorted out. Nothing more frustrating than spending a ton of money to fix a problem that you think you have fixed to find out that it's not fixed midway through doing what you had done it all for. So, I do.
Yeah, good deal. So started watching the night of on Sunday night, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Only made it through about 25 minutes before passing out of sheer exhaustion from the weekend. But I can definitely see the appeal of the show. It's pretty slow.
So it just Serial, the TV show?
I don't know. I never really listened to Serial. I listened to the first 2 episodes of the Bo Bergdahl one, and I was like, I'm not listening to this anymore.
That was foolish.
Yeah. So anyway, yeah, it's kind of slow, methodical, kind of drawn out, super gloomy. Kind of plays well against like the kind of the nighttime in New York. It seems like it's definitely promising. I need to pick it back up. I think they're on episode 7 right now. So I imagine that the season finale is going to happen this weekend, I think. So I'll be able to watch probably through the whole season come this weekend. So planning on doing that. Acting's good. It's hard to find a HBO show or really any, whether it's AMC, more the dramatic TV show stations or TV stations where they're making these shows where the acting's not good.
Right.
Which is fantastic. AMC and HBO are top notch when it comes to that kind of stuff. There's occasional bad acting and stuff like The Walking Dead, but for the most part, when you're talking about, between True Detective, this show, The Wire, Walking Dead for the most part, and Breaking Bad, and all those shows.
Yeah, all that said, I can't wait for Westworld.
Westworld looks fucking awesome.
Yeah, it really does.
Looks insane. It's a movie though, right?
No, it's a show.
Oh, for some reason I was thinking that it was a.
I think it's based off of a movie.
Oh, interesting.
No, it's a show.
Gotcha. And then when does? I may have missed it already, but *Halt and Catch Fire* season
tonight.
3 starting. Oh, it's starting tonight.
Yep.
All right, sweet. Now that I have DVR and cable, I'll be able to watch all that stuff. And
yeah, I only need to watch all of last season.
It was good, man. Last season was fantastic. Maybe, yeah, we need to get some banter goes to the movies type situations going on. Maybe some TV shows, that kind of thing. But we're excited, man. We got a lot of content coming to you guys, and we got a lot of stuff planned to help. Make your guys' weeks a little more entertaining at work. Kill your commute. Kill some of your board time at work. Listen, we got some. I don't know how much you want to dig into it, but just new segments, new content in general.
Yeah, I mean, we talked about it a little bit last week, which was that we're working through trying to get a new name, something a little bit more descriptive that addresses some of the issues that we were having on the back end of the podcasting front, so to speak. So the iTunes and Twitter and all that, and trying to just reach more people and be more accessible and more distinguished than the 30 or 40 other banter podcasts that are in the App Store and stuff like that. So we started looking into doing a new name. We bounced around a couple last week. I think what we ended up on last week, really, the two that we took away from it were the cul-de-sac or some variation of that, and then interstitial. And as a result of that, we ended up getting together last night to go over those and what the implications were of both, and then come up with something else and try to get a new batch of 5 or 6 that we could try to build on or see what was available related to those. So we couldn't really get anything anywhere with cul-de-sacs. We put that on the back burner, but all around this concept of, the neighborhood hangout spot or hanging out with friends on the weekend, and just that sense of growing up. A guy at my office today actually said, I feel like Stranger Things may have subliminally influenced a lot of this stuff. and it definitely plays into what all we were discussing last night. And it was unbeknownst to me until he had mentioned that today. So to that effect, we suggested the curfew, talking about going and renting movies from Blockbuster or renting games more so than that. It was past due or the late fee. And we ended up with one that we both really liked. Do you want to share it?
Yeah, if you don't mind me breaking the news.
No, go for it.
So, like Kevin was saying, along the concept of hanging out with your friends, and it really kind of harkens back to our generation. Kevin and I are almost 30, so we're late 20s. So we grew up in the 90s, grew up in a time where it was more about hanging out with your friends and your parents kicking you out of the house to stay out of their hair. And really what it ended up being is you spending half your time outside with your friends and then the other half inside with your friends. And one of the things that really struck with us, struck a chord with us, and the name we came up with is, what did your parents always tell you? Just make sure you're home before dark. So that's it. Home before dark.
Yeah, exactly. So I think it hits the nail on the head. We're always recording at night. We both, it's the sort of hangout spot where we just got in after curfew, sneaking in late, bikes thrown down in the front yard, and yeah, so it worked out great. We're going to be going through a whole change of Twitter, all the iTunes page. We're in the process of getting a website put together and all that. So you may notice some changes to the Twitter feed. All the content, everything is going to stay the same. It is simply a name change. So don't worry about any of that. It was just something that I think, it's like I said last week, banter and everything that we have now was just sort of thrown together on a whim. And now that we both have some time to really put a little bit more effort in this and have a revival, so to speak, of the podcast, we thought it was time to really put some effort into all of it. So home before dark it is, or be home before dark, or more specifically, get home before dark, which was always, it was never as kind as be home before dark. It was get home before dark. So that was the inspiration for everything. So hopefully you guys like it. Let us know what you think about the new name. We're happy about having a new identity, so to speak, and we're really excited to see where it goes and to pull everything together to give you guys more content. And one of those things is going to be streaming. Like I said, I think after we get off here tonight, we're actually going to hop on and do some streaming on Destiny. So hop over on that whenever we get off of this. You can find that on Twitter. We normally tweet out the link and stuff like that. We're streaming on Xbox. So add us on Xbox even if you want to come say hey or hang out or something like that. So anything else?
Yeah, one thing I did want to, and it sucks to probably kind of add on a sad or end on a sad note. But for anybody who knows me, you guys know, and Kevin too. Granted, you don't listen to this band, ironically enough. Anyway, so I'm big into the metal scene, hardcore scene, and really, really tragic and sad news hit on Saturday or Sunday morning. Tom Cyril from Architects, essentially the brains behind one of the best, most influential metalcore bands of the past, I don't know, decade, passed away from a 3-year battle with skin cancer. And that's I don't know what to say about it other than it's just tragic. The guy's our age. He's 28 years old. His twin brother plays drums. And I just can't help but feel like terrible for those guys. And just, I don't know what else to say except just he made amazing fucking music, and I've been blasting it the entire week. I really haven't listened to anything else since Sunday morning. And I don't know, it sucks because a lot of the things that their last 2 albums, which he was dealing with a battle with skin cancer during, have a whole new meaning now. Because again, he wrote all the music, he wrote all the lyrics, and all of that stuff kind of hits. It kind of hits harder now, knowing that he was dealing with that during the time. Played shows, never complained, was out there doing his thing for years, battling cancer. And I was pretty disappointed. I bought tickets back in May to go see them in July. Not disappointed in them, but they posted stuff online that they had to cancel the tour because of personal reasons, and come to find out it's because he essentially was put in a coma and then came back out and was dealing with all that stuff. And it's just, it sucks. And just somebody who's dealt with, being where his brother is. I know what that's, I don't know, not to say I know what that's like, but I mean, I've been down that road. And just, I guess the one thing that I saw on Twitter, there's so many like musicians in the scene that are coming out and paying tribute to him. But the one thing that really stuck to me is crazy, absolutely crazy, that he probably wrote this knowing this, but like the last thing that he ever wrote that got recorded, the line is, it just simply says, "Let me live and die in peace." And that's the end of the last song that they put out on their new album that came out earlier this year. And I don't know, it's just crazy and fitting. Just like, I don't know what else to say about it, but I just felt like it was kind of necessary to point that out because that guy, for anybody who's big in the, I don't know, metalcore scene, hardcore scene, those guys have played a big role in kind of a revitalization in that genre. So it's
yeah. Well, I mean,
sucks.
that's why we listen to music, right? And I think that's now more than ever. If you're a fan of that music, reach out. I mean, I'm sure. What's their Twitter handle? It's got to be just Architects, right? So
Architects UK, I believe.
yeah, I
Yeah, they,
mean, give them a shout out. I mean, I don't think a loss like that, it's not necessarily about, I don't like that type of music or whatever, but that's the thing that kind of brings everybody together is we live in a really special time in social media where even people that would have never listened to that band, but may have listened to the podcast, heard about it and could, say, hey, or sorry about your loss or something, because that it's not just, obviously his brother is there and there's family, but really that band is a family and the fans and everybody associated with it is an even bigger family. So our thoughts and prayers are obviously with them. So
yeah, it's and then the other thing is they've posted a crowdsourcing thing. It's not even crowdsourcing. It's just a donation page for, I guess, the hospice care service that took such good care of them that they want to help, get their name out. And it's called Martlet's Hospice. But yeah, I mean, tragic shit, but I hate to end on a down note, but that guy made some pretty incredible music and it's a pretty huge loss for somebody like me.
Well, we won't end on a down note. We'll end on a positive note, which is that I think I know what my internet issue is.
Oh no.
So the way my living room is laid out and the way my router is positioned on my entertainment center is my office is in the room behind where my living room is. And there's a fireplace in here. And so the router has a very narrow window for that signal to bypass through. Like I know masonry and metal and stuff like that can really affect how that signal can get through certain spaces. And the entertainment center we have also has a metal top. So everything in here and in this area is okay, but the signal would literally have to travel around a very specific route to get into the office. I came out here into the living room and I'm getting much better signal and stuff now, and you haven't said anything about the audio. So I'm thinking that may be it. I may just get another cheap broadcasting signal to put in there or something like that.
I'm telling you, I'm living back at my brother's house where I moved initially in Atlanta, and I dealt with that shit forever. And they're in an old house, in a 60s house, and I lived in the back bedroom, which is far away from the router, and dealing with really thick walls and brick and all that stuff. The only way to really do it, I'm telling you, man, you can give it a shot, and you can always return it to Micro Center or whatever. But go pick up 2 PoE adapters.
Well, that's what I did upstairs. It's just an extender, right? I mean, it's a wireless port that has an Ethernet connection to it, right?
No, not necessarily. It's like a power adapter that goes into the wall, and then you plug the Ethernet cable into your computer, and then there's one that's plugged into the router downstairs, and you have to do it in the wall. So
yeah, but then I would have to route an Ethernet cable from that one place in that room all the way back to my router, which I don't want to have cables running all over my house.
No. So you put one right next to your router in the wall. That goes from your router to the wall. And then wherever your computer is that you're wired to, it's really clean setup, actually. So wherever your computer is, that's where you have the second adapter.
So you have, okay, I see what you're saying now. So it's a wall box that's connected to the router, and then you have a secondary wall box that's
connected to your computer
at the termination point. I see what you're saying.
Yeah.
Well, I wouldn't be doing that.
Some,
I wouldn't be doing that for the Surface anyway, because it doesn't have an Ethernet port. I would have to get that dongle thing or whatever. So, I mean, we did an extender upstairs, which is good. I went up there earlier and was getting pretty decent speeds, but I definitely did not check the speed in the guest room or in the office, which was where I was recording at until we started recording. So I think that's the issue there. So hopefully everything will work out on the stream. We will find out soon enough. That said, thanks for checking us out, guys. You can find us both on Twitter. Tim, where can they find you at?
You can find me at Tim Herb. And then also, I guess you'll tell them where can they find the show?
Yeah, you can find the show at Get Home Before Dark, all one word. Pretty simple. So, and you can find me at The Architect. That's at _ARC, the number 1 TECT. So, yeah, if you notice the change on Twitter, don't be alarmed. It is just a name change. We're going to get a new image on there and stuff like that. Like I said, nothing's going to change on the podcast, but hopefully you guys enjoy it. I know it's been a lot of fun going through this exercise, and it's given us a new sense of purpose for the podcast. So thanks for joining us, guys. Be safe out there and get home before dark.